Okay, put it here.
Somebody is
Okay. Shalom. Shalom. Salam. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the conferment ceremony of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, honoris causa, upon two giants, President William Jefferson Clinton and Dr. John Sexton. This event was made possible through the support of our colleagues and friends at NYU, so thank you. My name is Dr. Haneen Karawani Khouri, and I am delighted and proud to be your host at today's proceedings. As is the case in all academic ceremonies and in true University of Haifa fashion, we begin the ceremony with an academic procession comprised of the University of Haifa administration, deans, faculty, and our University of Haifa friends, our Hooders. I kindly ask the audience to stand for the entrance of the academic procession. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our distinguished recipients, Dr. John Sexton, President William Jefferson Clinton. We have a full and exciting evening ahead of us, so let us begin. Once again, my name is Dr. Haneen Karawani Khouri, and I'm a professor of auditory and cognitive neuroscience at the Faculty of Social Welfare and Health Sciences at the University of Haifa. Although our university is tucked away in the beautiful city of Haifa, situated on the shores of the eastern basin of the Mediterranean Sea, this evening we are all gathered in one of the most glorious cities in the world, the magnificent New York. Our next speaker is no stranger to New York City. He served as the senior Vice Provost of NYU and called this beautiful city home for a number of years. I am very proud to call my president, University of Haifa President, Professor Ron Robin, to the stage to deliver his remarks. Professor Robin, הבמה שלך.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. So nice to see you here, President Clinton, Dr. Sexton, President Hamilton, distinguished guests, colleagues, dear friends. It is indeed a pleasure to be back here at Skirball and a great honor to be your host here for a very special evening. As Haneen said, this is somewhat of a homecoming for me. It's nice to be back in the hood. But with your permission, I am going to begin by praising my favorite academic institution, which is neither NYU nor the University of Haifa. I am referring to the great unseen university, which is the creation of the whimsical mind of the fantasy writer Terry Pratchett in his Discworld series. Some of you may know it. The unseen university is the Ivy League of wizards and fields of excellence. For those who are unfamiliar with it, they have departments that may strike you as a little weird. The Department of Post-Mortem Communication, the Center of Cruel and Unusual Geography, the Student One Athletics, Division I Athletics. They excel in competitive eating and extreme napping. And tenure and promotion process, I look here at my faculty. It may interest you to know that the tenure and promotion process is secured through the assassination of superiors and mentors. I'm sure you know all about that. So the unseen university is, of course, a joke in the world of academia. It pulls fun at the concept of the invisible college. This is a terminology that refers to the kind of informal network of researchers who collaborate without official sanction across fields, across universities. This is how we routinely do business in academia. But something happened to the invisible college when it fell into the hands of John Sexton. He took it to the cleaners. And as a grand wizard in his own right, John has transformed the invisible college into something very tangible. He has remade the invisible college into a very visible global network university, where instead of informal arrangements, John envisioned an idea capital and physical visible portals, a circulatory system of knowledge-seeking activity. And really, the only other wizard who has risen to the challenge of breaking borders sits next to John, and that is President William Jefferson Clinton. The Clinton Foundation is a site where global challenges are mitigated through collaborative partnerships, where a commitment to excellence, shared knowledge, empowerment, and creative solutions meet the challenges of an interdependent world. Now, with all humility, I will say that we at the University of Haifa follow in those footsteps. We have taken that adage of think globally and act locally, and we have switched it around. We've turned it on its head. We begin by thinking locally about challenges in our region, in Haifa, then Israel, then the Mediterranean, but we don't stop there. We actively seek collaborative partnerships with institutions of higher learning throughout the world. And our university is very well positioned to support a sustainable future given our, what John would call, locational endowment. Our campuses straddle 3 natural laboratories. We are on the mountain, we are in the city, and we're by the sea. The surrounding mountains are home to evolutionary processes that may hold the key for the creation of sustainable food supplies. The city of Haifa, it's a tiny city. It's a city of 250,000, yet it is so diverse that it encompasses all the challenges and all the opportunities of a large city. And finally, there is the sea. I know we all think that we reside on planet Earth, but in actual fact, we are marooned on planet water. From space, you can see it very clearly. 70% of the planet's surface is covered by water. The Mediterranean is the source of our energy, soon to be the primary source of our protein, and of course, the source of 80% of our potable water in Israel. Now, we all know that none of us can resolve these issues in isolation. Building a shared society, creating global networks are really the only way to face the environmental, social, and health crises that affect us all. And we are well positioned. We are the most diverse university in Israel, where students of every creed and color study side by side. Our goal is to create a new, pluralistic, and inclusive Israeli middle class that will rise to the environmental and human challenges of the region and the world. And here tonight is another sign of our global ambitions. A university from a distant land has literally invaded Washington Square in order to create a familiar academic ritual. And it is in this context that I take note of our wonderful faculty sitting here next to me who have joined us today. They're representatives of multiple disciplines. They are trained all over the world. All of them are advocates of intellectual and social diversity. And in their research, our faculty constantly try to move back the boundaries of humanly possible, and without ever forgetting our commitment to our students from all backgrounds. And it's really only fitting that we celebrate our strengths in differences here at the world's great epicenter of knowledge production through diversity. Before I continue, I would be remiss if I would not acknowledge 2 dearly departed colleagues. For many years when I was here, Dr. Hilary Ballon was at our side, a partner in building NYU Abu Dhabi. Her family is here with us tonight in the hall, and we all as well feel the energy and presence of another departed soul, Lisa Ellen Goldberg, John Sexton's partner in life. In her memory, we have established a fund to support women PhD students at Haifa. We invite you to participate in this important enterprise. So thank you all very much, and we will continue with the ceremony.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We have come to our award ceremony. Each one of our esteemed recipients will in turn be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, honoris causa, which is one of the university's highest accolades. Our first honoree this evening is Dr. John Sexton. As NYU's President Emeritus, Dr. Sexton has touched many lives and is admired and respected by many. He is not only a leader in his chosen field of law, but also an academic innovator who revolutionized higher education by creating the Global Network University. For the award ceremony, I am honored to call to the center of the stage University of Haifa President, Professor Ron Robin, University of Haifa Rector, Professor Gur Al-Roi. And to honor Dr. Sexton and to hood him, we've asked dear friends of the University of Haifa, Mr. Harry Bloomfield and Mr. Stanley Gold, to join us. I kindly ask Mr. Bloomfield and Mr. Gold to join us at the center of the stage. I have the great pleasure and privilege of calling to the center of the stage President Emeritus of NYU, Dr. John Sexton. The robe that Dr. Sexton, I do want to tell you about the robe. The robe that Dr. Sexton will be robed with has been masterfully embroidered by Jerusalem-based Judaica artists, Jerusalem Yarmulke.
While the rector holds the scroll, I will read for you our inscription there. In recognition of his visionary leadership and transformative contributions as Dean of the Law School and President of NYU and New York University, for pioneering the Global Network University, promoting cross-cultural sensitivity, and offering students and faculty opportunities to engage in innovative research at over a dozen campuses in idea capitals on 6 continents, for devoting efforts to advancing educational opportunities for the world's poor and refugee populations, for founding the Catalyst Foundation for Universal Education, and establishing and chairing the President's Council of the University of the People, and in appreciation of his staunch support for academic freedom. Thank you.
Dr. Sexton, congratulations. Yes, please remain with us. I kindly invite on stage. I kindly invite Dr. Katie Fleming, the president of the J. Paul Getty Trust and a dear friend of John, to offer some congratulatory words.
Good evening. So every serious honoris causa ceremony includes a laudatio. You just heard one, sort of. a commendation, praise. It's the part of the ceremony that's designed to explain to you just why it is that a given individual deserves so high an honor. Now, the given individual in this case is, of course, John Edward Sexton, and having just heard a little bit about him and knowing him, as many of you do, this honor really needs no explanation. So instead, what I'm doing might be called a congratulatio. John, congratulations on this joyous occasion and this well-earned honor. Congratulationes tibi ago. I congratulate you, but not, impressive as it is, for your professional biography. The word transformational has been so frequently yoked with your name that your image might appear beside it in the dictionary. Instead, John, I congratulate you in the true etymological sense. That is, I speak with gratitude. We are all joyous with you, but we are even more grateful for you. We are so grateful. Congratur. This is the true meaning of my congratulations. Now, lest I have not yet been pretentious enough, allow me to invoke Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor of the 2nd century, who incidentally knew his way around a good laudatio. A prodigiously learned man, he is famous for his book of Meditations, which, just to challenge himself, he wrote in Greek. Having in the past 24 hours heard you, John, rattle off a little bit of Homer in the original, I imagine that for you this would be child's play. In Book 6, 54, he makes a crucial observation. Toto zmini mi simferon ude temelisi simferi, which of course you all know means what injures the hive injures the bee. This is a profound statement of interdependence. The commitment to others, John, is at the core of who you are. It has infused everything that you have ever done. You could have been the queen bee, and yes, it is a queen, but instead you have always been with and for the hive. For you, as for the greatest thinkers in world history, the supreme good has always been to act for the benefit of others. So I can think of no greater reason to honor a person than this, and nor can I think of greater reason for us, the lucky ones who know you, to be grateful, to be joyful, to congratulate. Congratulations.
Dr. Sexton, I kindly invite you to respond.
Katie Fleming. Wow. I remember the first time that I noticed her as a brilliant professor of history. And she has graced NYU and led it, and now has destroyed her reputation among all who know me with those remarks. So we're here to celebrate a world-class university. As you saw, but I'll reaffirm, more than any in Israel and most in the world, one that embraces building bridges across difference. Its campus, in my view, with its 3 locations so different from each other, is a metaphor for the reality that is its student body and its faculty and the work that it does. I'll just say, for those who are here who know me, the rest will be able to infer its meaning, that the person whom I've met in my 80 years with the greatest judgment of any human being I've ever met, the love of my life, my late wife, Lisa, who did everything according to the doctrine of tzedakah, chose Haifa as the university in Israel at which she would most focus her work. So I'm blessed to be honored with this degree. But more than that, I'm blessed to share any ceremony, no matter how minor my appropriate part in it, with President Clinton, who I view as the first citizen of an integrated global humankind. He has long been a member of the NYU community, the first speaker at the first Yankee Stadium graduation on a day that was rainy. The great fear about a graduation that has 50,000 people at it, all outdoors. But it was rainy only until he stepped out of the dugout. And miraculously, truthfully, the sun came out, the crowd cheered, and their 2 hours in the rain waiting for the ceremony to start seemed like nothing as he gave a tremendous speech. But it wasn't just that ceremony in Yankee Stadium. He also spoke at the graduation of the first class to graduate from NYU Abu Dhabi when it wasn't easy to do so. And he said then, and that day, this place deserves your support and credit. He has been, with his spectacular wife Hillary and his daughter Chelsea, a part of this community and a deep part that led us in the direction that we were bold enough to go, but his ratification meant a great deal. But he's been even longer a dear friend of the Sexton family. The most recent addition, wearing his first suit today, now being escorted out by his father. Papa loves you, Ellis. Papa loves you. But he and Hillary and Chelsea have been part of the Sexton family going back, it's 40 years now, and in deep and profound ways. And Mr. President, I just want to say publicly to you how much admiration I have for you and your family personally, because we in the family will never forget the way Hillary comforted Lisa when she worried about whether she had bonded enough with our daughter, Katie, the mother of that child. And I will never forget, and Katie will never forget, how you and Hillary were there for us after Lisa's sudden death. So we celebrate Haifa, we celebrate this great citizen of the world, and then there's this guy from Brooklyn. Go figure. I mean, just go figure. It's as Rodney Dangerfield said at the Harvard graduation once, it was only a 2-sentence speech. Me at Harvard, you figure it out. Me here, you figure it out. The culprit is Ron. This was to be, or my part of this was to be in June in Israel at the 2023 graduation, the 50th anniversary of this great school. And then events conspired to make that impossible for me. And it was transmuted into a small dinner in New York with some of the Haifa community. And that became this, which is overwhelming. And it's overwhelming as I saw today the list of meaningful people in our lives, my life, my family's life, NYU's life, that have come some from around the world. And I thank you, and I can't call you out because there are so many of you, and I'm overwhelmed because I'm here as the opening act for something that's worthy. And here I'm going to go back to Katie Fleming. But I'm going to do it by virtue of a story that involves my son, Jed. It was 1988, and the Tisches had just purchased the New York Giants, and I had just become dean of the law school, and they wanted to know who this new guy was, so they invited me to the opening game of the season, a Monday night game against San Francisco, in the owner's box. And Lisa didn't go to university events, so I asked if I could bring Jed, and we went over, and Barbara Streisand was in the box, and Dan Rather was in the box, and we were in the box. Go figure. And on the way home in the car, Jed said to me, "Dad, you're a comma person, C-O-M-M-A, a comma person." I said, "Did you make that up?" He said, "I think so." And I said, "What is a comma person?" He said, "Didn't you notice when people came in at halftime to pay homage to Mr. Tisch, he would say, 'You know Barbara Streisand, you know Dan Rather, you know John Sexton, comma, the dean of NYU Law School.'" He said, your presence had to be explained. And that's what I want to leave you with as my core reaction to Katie's remarks and to the honor I received tonight. Katie was there when, as she was this year, I was 10 years ago inducted into the Legion of Honor. Now, I could have thought I was inducted into the Legion of Honor because of John from Brooklyn, but I had to have Katie write me in French, phonetically, a paragraph explaining why in the French Senate I was going to give the rest of my speech in English with a Brooklyn accent. And it was this. I was there because it was the 40th anniversary of NYU's campus in France, and they couldn't give the university induction into the Legion of Honor, so they picked the guy that was president to be inducted into the Legion of Honor. You have certain roles. And I was there representing a common enterprise of talented men and women who chose to join an enterprise of hope and progress for the world. I was useful. I'm a good noticer. I'm a good storyteller. I'm what I call a possibilitarian. I could put things on offer. But in truth, the story and vision wasn't mine. It was a high school teacher named Charlie and Teilhard de Chardin and John the 23rd and all kinds of accidental things coming together under the inspiration of a man that's here tonight, Dan Doctoroff, who would meet with me to talk about and massage the idea even before he became deputy mayor. It was his vision for the Olympics and seeing New York City. His motto was, "Come to New York, the world's second home. Every team will have a neighborhood." And I saw, wow, you could just take NYU, which is in and of the city, and extrapolate it out. And then I would test that idea on people like the president. And when they said this is a good idea, he and the magnificent Marty Edelman then helped me partner with Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and then later with great leadership in Shanghai. And it began to become a reality, but it was not mine. And if I had not had, speaking of partnerships, Marty Lipton as my chair, the quintessential chairman of the board, right along at every moment, none of it would have happened, but most of all, it wouldn't have happened without the talented men and women like Katie, like others too numerous to mention that are in this room, who just got behind the idea. And then we were blessed in 2016 with a man who arrived with impeccable credentials and put his imprimatur on it and then built it beyond whatever I had seen with that team into what it is today, even more than what we ever dreamed. So I accept this honor, this great honor. I accept it on behalf of the common enterprise of men and women who created what has happened here. With me, yes, noticing and telling a story, but then with Andy bringing his grace and imprimatur to it. And I bless President Clinton for being a part of it, and I bless my family that is here today who encouraged me to go on because they thought I believed in it. And most of all, I bless Lisa, who never took the limelight and always said, honey, this is good. Go forward, build bridges. I thank you all, every single one of you, for being here tonight, and I thank Haifa very much for this honor.
Mazal Tov, Dr. Sexton, and welcome to the University of Haifa family. We now honor an inspiring man, President William Jefferson Clinton, whose lifetime of work and achievement are hard to grasp in mere words. President Clinton's actions, his leadership, speak volumes. And on a personal note, when I started as a young faculty member at the University of Haifa, I did not imagine in my wildest dreams that I will be standing on this stage today and have a part in this celebration of excellence. To honor Mr. Clinton, President Clinton, and properly welcome him to the family, I invite our University of Haifa President, Professor Ron Robin, our Rector, Professor Gur Al-Roi, to the center of the stage. And for honoring President Clinton, we have invited two very special persons this evening. The first is a longtime University of Haifa supporter and friend who, together with her husband Sami, has transformed Israeli higher education. I call to the center of the stage Tova Sagol. To join Tova Sagol, I'm honored to invite our second Hooder, world-renowned performance artist who was just recently awarded the University of Haifa Honorary Doctorate, the magnificent Marina Abramovich. President Clinton's robe, as well as Marina's robe, both have been embroidered by University of Haifa trustee Batya Shani, a beautiful gift from a gifted artist. And now, I would like to invite President William Jefferson Clinton to join us at the center of the stage.
William Jefferson Clinton, in recognition of his lifetime of public service and extraordinary leadership, for his promotion of democracy, advocacy of human rights and humanitarian assistance, for tackling pressing national and global changes and improving lives of millions of people around the globe through the Clinton Foundation, for advancing policies and programs worldwide that promote equality, environmental sustainability, economic opportunities, and equitable healthcare services for all, values that align with the University of Haifa mission, and for being a true friend of the State of Israel. תודה, חבר. Thank you, friend.
Mabruk, President Clinton, congratulations. You can have a seat on...
You told me to come here. I did.
Okay.
I did. My mistake.
I will be happy to congratulate you again.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
I've reached the age when I just try to take orders well.
Please, you may take your seat. Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Mabruk, President Clinton. And I kindly invite our distinguished guest, Mr. Eddie Trump, to offer his congratulations. Eddie, together with his brother Jules, are passionate philanthropists. The Trump Family Foundation has made a great impact on education in Israel, specifically STEM education. They are convinced that excellence is a choice, is a right, and is a way of life. And thus, they created opportunities for Israeli students of all backgrounds to excel and thrive. Yes?
Excellence, indeed, is a choice. It's a right. It's a way of life. The University of Haifa is the personification of this quest. We are great admirers of President Robin and his faculty for the work they do in Israel and beyond. Distinguished guests, President Bill Clinton, President John Saxon, President and Professor Ron Robin, ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible honor to address you all here this evening in celebration and acknowledgement. The impact of one of the most consequential leaders of our time, who also happens to be a dear, dear friend, someone that I admire totally and deeply love. At a time when the world yearns for real leadership, a return to statesmanship, integrity, decency, deep empathy, global understanding of humanity and world affairs, it is particularly poignant at this moment in our complex history to shine a light on a living legacy of a president who has done so much for America and for the world. That, of course, is President William Jefferson Clinton. Having the privilege of traveling with Bill around the world on many occasions, seeing firsthand how transformative his visionary leadership is and has been to so many. You see it, I saw it. I accompanied him to the shelters housing the victims of the who were ravaged from Hurricane Katrina. I watched in awe as he held out his hands and opened his heart to thousands, literally thousands. At the same time, he consoled dozens, one by one. We all witnessed this, the same compassion, in other parts of the world on countless other occasions, in the wake of disasters and human struggles. This is an incomparable mind at work in tandem with a colossal heart for humanity. He dedicates himself with steadfast conviction to making the world a better place. I could spend hours extolling his virtues as president during his tenure in office, but I couldn't possibly do that justice. So today, I will simply shine a bright light on just a tiny bit of Bill's amazing and most impactful post-presidency, where his maverick contributions through his Clinton Global Initiative and the Clinton Foundation have done so much to empower the most vulnerable amongst us. The man from Hope has indeed made it his mission in life to inspire hope across the world. And this, for sure, is one of Bill Clinton's greatest gifts to the world. I remember vividly another very special occasion when President Clinton and I traveled together to Jerusalem to celebrate one of Israel's most inspiring, innovative organizations, which provides cutting-edge services to children with special needs. I was so impressed with Bill's laser-focused, authentic interest, deep concern for the well-being of these precious children. And children like them all over the world. As this is his trademark, his sincere and deep compassion shined through, as did his appreciation of the and support for the program that empowered those children despite their challenges. His wish was simply that each child live their life with dignity and pride, and to live it to their very best potential. For him, it is ensuring that all have access to the dream. This is what drives Bill's leadership. And this once more was made very clear, that his big heart has very big impact. His strategic and brilliant-minded work has no rival, and his heart and love for people knows no bounds and no borders. As a true visionary, Bill Clinton has this astounding ability to awaken in others to their own power and potential. This too is among Bill's most remarkable powers, his ability to turn the vulnerable into activists and to inspire so many to care and to join forces for good. As a friend, you will find no finer human being. He is the most worthy of every acknowledgement, of every accolade. As his embrace for mankind inspires both here and all around the world. Tonight we see a common denominator linking the global initiative, the Clinton Global Initiative, the New York University, and the University of Haifa. All three are great institutions. All three think globally, think locally, yet all act globally. We, the human race, will triumph only by uniting our resources and talents locally and globally. And that mission is deeply, very deeply rooted in the soul, in the neshama of President Bill Clinton. It is my great honor to congratulate President Clinton.
Congratulations, Dr. Sexton and President Clinton. And once again, welcome to our family. Bruchim habaim. I now call the President of the University of Haifa, Professor Robin, to join you on stage for a discussion.
No, you sit in the middle. This will be a long time since I was the most far-right person on a platform. It's good.
So I would hope that you would perhaps make some responding remarks before we move on, having heard Eddie.
The last time I tried it didn't work out so well. I'd be happy to. Just thank you. First of all, I will be rather brief, but I am very grateful to the University of Haifa, and I thank President Robin and Dr. Corey and those who hooded me, Tova Segal and Marina Abramovich, my longtime friend, Eddie Trump. And I'd also like to thank, I read an article about the artist who designed these robes. I believe her name is Batya Shani. And I love this robe. All the more because she said in the article that she met me at the cemetery on the occasion of Yitzhak Rabin's funeral. And she finished this robe on his Memorial Day. So I will treasure this for the rest of my life. I loved him very much, and I miss him still. I'm profoundly honored to be here with John Sexton. I have to say, I thought one of the most appropriate things tonight, something I never thought I would hear in my life, was a bunch of bagpipers playing Havana Gila. Sexton's too old to pretend. He's still a Roman Catholic, you know, not a Jew. And I love that. We became friends some 40 years ago when Hillary and I were invited to join a small group of people, as he said, at the home of Laura and Dick Chasen in Edgartown, Massachusetts, on Cape Cod. We were all very earnest, talking about all kinds of things. When John and Lisa were there, that's how we met. And I just fell in love with them. It was a fascinating weekend. You would have all had a good time. One couple there, parenthetically, there were only about 5 couples, were the Thurmans. Robert Thurman is the only person ever to have become a Tibetan Lama inducted personally by the Dalai Lama. And his wife was a wonderful immigrant from Denmark who came here at 16. Bob saw her and decided maybe he wasn't cut out for the monk's life. But unlike most people who give in to temptation, he went to the Dalai Lama himself and said, I have fallen in love. I would very much like to marry this woman, but if you hold me to my commitment, I will honor it till the day I die. And the Dalai Lama released him. He became one of the great scholars of both Buddhism, but also all the world's religions in modern times. And everybody came out happy by being honest and inclusive. I say that because I owe many debts to John Sexton. But from that day, all those long years ago to this, through the loss of his beloved wife, through all sorts of upheavals and storm and sunshine, and through the great triumphs he had as president of New York University, I never saw him once without a song in his heart and a smile on his face. I was so grateful when he hired our friend Cheryl Mills, who was a great young lawyer in the White House with me, and then he even hired Chelsea for a while. You are entitled to think this is a nepotistic event. And she helped start the NYU campus at Abu Dhabi, which she's very proud of to this day. And she became a sponsor of the largest interfaith group of students at any American university in the country, based at NYU. And when America was torn up by Hurricane Katrina, and President Bush asked his father and me to try to organize the country to help rebuild it, I was in the Gulf Coast area and I looked up and there they were. Jews, Muslims, and Christians who rode 3 busloads down from New York to work hand in hand on the Gulf Coast to help people who didn't know they were coming and probably weren't quite sure where they'd come from. That too is a part of John Sexton's legacy. So I thank you for this honor, but I thank you for honoring my friend, and I thank him for always trying to bring out the best in people, for never believing the worst, even when the rest of us demonstrate it, and for reminding all of us that a day spent in anger and resentment is a day wasted. A day spent beginning again is always full of hope. Thank you.
Got it? You may know a little bit about Israeli society. We are the masters of improvisation. We're terrible at routine, but we're masters of improvisation. And we're going to bring the ceremony to a close with a bit of improvisation. I'm going to ask the faculty to get up, stand behind these two august people, and we're going to take a joint picture with everyone. That's good? And we ask the audience to remain in their seats. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests. Our time together has come to an end. I would like to thank President Clinton for his presence and wish him all well. On behalf of everyone at the University of Haifa, please know that you are all welcome to visit our beautiful campus. Again, I wish to convey our gratitude to our NYU colleagues who helped us make this evening possible. I invite all of you to join us for a reception at the Rosenthal Pavilion on the 10th floor of the Kimmel Center. Thank you and good evening, everyone. Laila Tov.